plastic container here. Storage container. It arrived today. And it contains third number. This chunk. This is going in the Camaro. It's a Yukon aluminum 9-inch Ford third member. Got a 1350 yoke. Got a 35 spline pinion. Got 40 spline axles. Got a 433 gear. It's a Richmond gear. Got a Mark Williams spool. It's a beefy unit. I believe it's rated 1500 horse, but in real life it'd probably take more than that. I think they rate them below what they'll actually handle to keep them from coming back. I've seen this same rear end used in 2000 horse, no prep cars. So, but it's rated to 1500 horse officially. This motherfucker will take anything I got, put any engine I got in this car. And this big burly fucker will handle it no problem. It's aluminum, it's a little bit lighter than the big cast iron version. But you pick it up, it's not exactly a fucking featherweight. Gear and shit's pretty heavy in these, but you save a few pounds compared to the cast iron case. This case is actually, it's got Daytona pinion support, and it's a 10-bolt case, but just utilizing a 5-bolt cover, it'll be fine. Some pretty thick shit. Well made. Another piece to the puzzle. But with this unit I can put a turbocharged big block in that Camaro and not worry about it. Which I'm gonna, when I do put the big block in, I'm unfortunately gonna have to put a turbo 400 in it, because I don't have a manual transmission that'll withstand that kind of abuse. But I do have a few 400 turbos laying around that are pretty fucking beefy, so I'm gonna have to go that route to avoid breakage. But a 400 turbo with a 5000 stall in it, manual valve body, nice 36 element sprag and shit, billet drum, aftermarket input shaft and shit. I got one of them that'll handle well over 1,000 horse, no problem. Got a couple others that'll handle 800 anyway. 400 turbos are, if you're gonna build a serious fucking unit, that's the transmission of choice for most serious units. I've destroyed quite a few 350 turbos back in the day before I finally gave up on them. You can spend enough money on anything, you can make it better, but 400 turbo stock is better than a built 350 turbo. So it just makes sense to go with the big boy. That's what the factory did when they put big blocks and shit. They used 400 turbos. Yukon. That's a pretty nice chunk. That unit will set you back $1,500. It's custom built. Some dude that builds rear ends, he's been building them for like 40 years. He got a list of options and shit. And go through and fill out your build sheet. He'll build you a chunk to order. And this is the one I chose. It's 433 gear, which I wanted around a 430, but 433 is fine. That's a good quarter-mile gear for pretty high revving shit. That'll get you engine up in its power band pretty quick. So I got a small block. It's pretty rowdy in the car now. I got a 5-speed, but it's an older, it's a TKO 500. And allegedly it's good about 500 pounds of torque. And small block I got in there, it's probably 460 torque, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it's got quite a bit more horsepower than it has torque. So it'll live behind that engine. But when I go to put the fat rat in there, it's going to have considerably more than 500 pounds of torque. Even my NA single 4-barrel units. So I'm glad to have this fucking thing. Get it, this rear end here. Get all this shit put together and bolted in the car. Gotta put some brakes on it. I got GM housing ends to use GM brakes. So it simplifies shit. Probably use the stock brake lines. Just bolt the shit in. Got this old Borg Warner 4-speed. It's the old school Hurst Competition Plus, I believe what that is. It's a good shifter back in the day. Probably stick that in my truck. It's a pretty beefy unit. That's a service replacement, over the counter Borg Warner T10 from back in the day. Corvette shit from the 60s. Pretty good old transmission. There's your Yukon 433 geared 9-inch chunk.